Hello, Randy Rain here, and I've done several videos on how to make things remote control using various remote control circuits. But what if you wanted to have several receivers and you control them with one remote? Or what if you had one receiver and you wanted several transmitters to control it? Well, you're not going to be able to do it with these circuits. For that, you're going to have to do a lot of the work yourself, except when it comes to the radio transmission, which is the hardest part anyway. These are the HC-12 modules. These are transceivers, which means they can both transmit and receive. And they transmit and receive UART, which is Universal Asynchronous Receiving Transmitting, which is a serial interface. So you could send UART data into a module, and it can broadcast out, and any other module can pick it up. So what you need is something to put out the data and something to interpret the data. And a PICAXE chip can do that. And I love me some PICAXE chips. So let me show you the adventure that I did figuring this out. So the first thing is to program a PICAXE chip just using an OM82, and I'm just going to have it initialize and then repeatedly send out the number 333, and then I'm going to analyze that. To ground all these pins just to be on the safe side. Most definitely have to ground pin C5 just to make sure there's no problems. I'm going to ground all the unused ones. Here is my output. Now I'm going to use this logic analyzer, and it's going to be hooked to ground. Okay, here's pulse view. I need to go to here, to 9600. Now we will power this bad boy up and run this. Let's look here what one of these things are doing. Bunch of garbage. Here we are setting the frequency, calibrating it, opening up this channel to send these packets out, a little bit of a pause, and then we're just going to repeat sending out this hex of 55 here. Now if we run this, if we run the pulse view and turn it on, you can see the pulses coming out. Stop the pulse view and we'll look at one of these pulses, and there it is, 55. The RX data coming out 55. So it's working perfectly here. We can look at a different one, go over to this one, make sure they're all, yep, 55. Power these little guys. Because I have it 5 volts right now, but I think the logic on here is only 3.3. So this may have to be changed. So here's the receiving there, transmitting here, and then it'd be receiving here. This one's hooked to the logic analyzer. Now when I look at it under the logic analyzer, it should be transmitting from here over to here and seeing that same number. Okay, we're running. Power on. Bupkis. Well, I've figured most of this out so far and found out all the problems, what's going on. First of all, I had to reset these HC-12s back to the factory default, and I will show you how to do that. However, if you look at the pulses that I got to go through the transmission, they're wrong. That should be 55, not B5. And this next one here, that's a 75. That's wrong. This one, I had finally got one right. Anyway, I did it 10 times and it got 4 of it correctly. Well, that's not very good, so I've been doing some research, and so right now with the PICAXE, I have it at 16 hertz. It's default at 8. I'm going to just set it at 8. Change this down to 10. These here, I have to go back to 8. In the PICAXE literature, it says you have to switch it to 16 to get the 9600 baud, but actually you don't. So you can do this. We'll reprogram this chip. I'll put it back. Turn it on. There's our pulses. Alright, now this is coming off of the PICAXE. So that one is correct, 55. Alright, yep, these are all correct. So now, I'm going to hook this up to the other HC-12. Now it's going to show what this thing is sending. There's the pulses. Now let's just look at one random one here. What is this one? 55. That is correct. Okay, let's go look at this last one. 55. Ooh, this is looking good. Nope, that one didn't go. B5. But a better thing to do is to drop down the baud rate of these things. And in order to do that, you have to use these AT commands or AT commands, which the PICAXE doesn't do very well. You have to use numbers and ASCII and stuff to do it with the PICAXE, and it doesn't come out correctly because you only have to do it once. So I can go in there and reset it to 4800 baud. And to do that, you really need one of these USB-to-TTL. And then there's a free program for this called RealTerm. And this program's terrible, but it works. You got to go to the port here. We got to set it to 9600 baud because that's what it's basically set at. This is you're going to have to figure out yourself depending on which USB you're connected into. So that part you got to figure out. Leave the parity none, 8 bits, and this one stop bit. And then there's an open and close button. You can hit the change button and then hit open. And now it's open. Then you can go to this send here. And so now on here, I have to use the positive. I don't have to, but I'm going to. That's 5 volts coming in here just like before. Okay. And then there's these black ones, which are the ground. And I'm going to undo it from the PICAXE. I don't need it running the PICAXE. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and unplug everything from here. And now, on the RX, the input of this thing, I'm going to connect to the output of this thing. Then I'm going to connect the TX on this, and I'm going to connect it to the RX on this thing. Now you have to take from ground and put it onto that set. Now when you go back to the real time, if you send this at plus RX, it will return what you're doing. You got at this 96 here and some other stuff that I don't know. So it says the B9600. We want B4800. Send. Okay. And we'll clear it. Send it again. Okay. Now that one is now set to that. Now I can do the other one. Plug it in here. Okay, we'll clear. We'll check its Yep, it's set there at 96. So we'll go to the here. Okay. And now it is set. Perfect. Now here's the thing to do, and this will really screw you over, is to remember to undo that set grounding. Because that, if you forget about that and start trying to do this thing, it's not going to work. Okay, now we have to change the code. I'm going to change this to 48 here. And I'm going to even change that to 5. Checking. Code is good. Put this guy back. Switch to... Oh, that's what was going on. I didn't switch it to 4800. That could be a problem. Power. There they come. What does that one look like? 55. How about you? 55. Got here. 55. I'm pretty sure every one of these is going to be good. 55. Yep, every one of them. So that is the answer. That's how you do it right there. Okay, now I'm going to take this chip here. I'll reprogram it to be the receiver. So here's the code. So it's going to check the SEER-in on the C1 over here. If it doesn't get anything in 2 seconds, it's going to continue. If it does get something, it's going into B0. Got a select case here. And this has to be this, not just 55. It has to be this. So now I'm going to program this chip. And that will go over there for the receiver. And I'm going to go ahead and program it as the transmitter. And now I need to test it to see if it's working properly. Go back to pulse view, run it, turn it on. 55, yep. 55. Yeah, you probably don't have to calibrate much at that baud rate, but this is all good to go. Put the chip there. This one is positive. This one's negative. Oh, definitely C5 has to go negative. Go ahead and make all the other ones negative too. It's the input, so it comes to the transmission there. I think that'll be fine. So connect this to the output pin. So I'll just connect it to here. Now I need an LED. This goes to ground. But this rail's not ground, so I need to ground it. Alright, so I have it darker, and I have a green LED and a blue LED connected to the pins. They're connected to pin 0 and pin 1. The transmitter is coming in. They're on pin 3. The other ones are not being used, and they're to ground. Over here on the transmitter, I have the PICAXE chip coming out of C0 going into the transceiver. And I'm using pin 3 and pin 4 as my switches. I have some pull down resistors and some protective resistors on there. And now all I have to do is put positive to either one of these. Here's my blue and green. Now this should turn blue on, and this should turn blue off. This should turn green on, this should turn green off. So what's happening when I put a positive charge onto either one of these pins, it's going to send out the number 55 or the number 66. This one's going to receive all that. The PICAXE chip is going to look at it, and if it's 55, it's going to turn this one on if it's off, or off if it's on. And if it's 66, it's going to do the same thing with this one. And that's just too cool. And of course, you can send better data across, and even encode it. And this one could send it back and say, yes, I got it. And so it could change the cipher too. So you could make a code and make it hard to detect and copy, but you could create your own security. So yeah, I think these are pretty cool, and my mind is racing on what to do with them. But if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this, hit the subscribe button. I want to thank these people here. These are the patrons. These are the people bringing you the HC-12, and I thank them oh so very much, and I couldn't do any of this stuff without them. And if you'd like to become a patron, of course, there are links and there's perks and stuff. So go please check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I was having some weird anomalies here, and I couldn't figure out what was going on and where the problem was. For some reason, the blue LED would just turn on, and come to find out, this input for the blue, it was on this antenna here. See if I can replicate it. And see, I can't make blue come on by doing green. And that was what I was having some weird issues. All of a sudden blue would just come on. But that's because blue was up here by this antenna. Now watch.